know most people think that dehydrated foods are only for emergencies. Like you stick stuff up forever and you don't look at it again until something happens, and you put it aside thinking maybe there's going to be an emergency big enough for me to have to pull that food out. And then you don't touch it for years, and then you pull it out and it's kind of gross. Or maybe you think it's only for hiking and camping meals that you pull out for when you need to go out someplace where you don't have access to a lot of fresh food. Well, let me tell you, I use my dehydrated foods every single day when I cook for my family, and you can too. So hi, I'm Darcy from the Purposeful Pantry, and I want to be your dehydrating BFF to show you safe and practical ways to dehydrate food to be able to use for your family in meals every single day of the year that don't have to be relegated to a shelf that nobody ever touches, that nobody ever looks at, nobody ever eats, just in case one day you might need them. No, use them every single day. And here's why. It can save you money. It can save you a ton of money, because when you go to the store, okay, let's not even talk about the people who garden and have all that food that they grow in their backyard. Great for them, and that surplus will actually benefit them to dry it and put it on their shelf. But I'm talking about those of us who don't really have a robust garden, who have to rely on the grocery store. So how does it save money? When you go to the store and find something on sale, you stock up on it, and then you purchase it, you bring it home, and you dehydrate it. And you can put it on your shelf, like you can see right here on my shelf that's full of dehydrated foods. You can put it on your shelf and have it ready whenever you need it. So you're actually eating today's prices tomorrow, if that makes sense. So you're not having to go back to the store another day and pay full price for an off-season food that might not taste so great, because you've already got it right here. It also saves money when you're not wasting food. So if you buy food for your family and they don't eat it fast enough, like for us, it's grapes. I buy grapes all the time, but they don't eat them as fast as they need to. So oftentimes what do? I cut them in half and I throw them in the dehydrator and I dry them, and then we have raisins to use for meals and snacks later, okay? You can use them in bread, you can do whatever with them. But then I've saved it, I haven't wasted that food, and I've got it on the shelf for use another day. It also saves me time, because I don't have to worry about rushing out to the store and buying something that I didn't have on the shelf. The time that I'm saving not having to go out and buy that one item, plus, you know, because you never come out with one thing. You always go in going, oh, I need this, this, and this, whether you really need it or not. But the time of not having to go out to the grocery store and get the thing that you need and come back. Granted, if you have a family member that you can send out, it's still their time that you're wasting too. The other way it can save time is not standing here trying to prep vegetables for every single meal every time. You have prepped vegetables already ready here that all you have to do is rehydrate quickly, then use the meal that you're going to use. You don't have to spend time prepping every day the same peppers that you've done every day for your entire life, okay? It can save you a ton of time that way. And another way it saves time is on days when you are busy and you have so much going on. The last thing that you want to do is stand in the front of a stove and put something together. You could already have a meal ready right here that all you have to do is put in some water, put it in a simmering pot on your stove, and you're ready to go in 15 minutes, maybe 20, when you could be doing some other things while that's getting ready. Now, another side benefit I always look at is stress. Now, when you're so busy that you have no time to do anything except for run through takeout to get something to bring home. And have you noticed the cost of takeout lately? It has gotten so incredibly expensive for food that's not even good. Well, if you can come home, put a meal on your stove in 20 minutes that you don't even have to prep for more than putting some broth in a bowl, putting some food in that saucepan along with it, let it simmer and be ready while you're doing all the things that you have to do before you have to go off and do the next thing, that takes a load of stress off of you, plus it saves you time. So those are some ways that it benefits. For me, there's also the added benefit of having my food here that is available for an emergency, okay? Because sometimes that stuff happens. Your family gets really sick, so much so that nobody's cooking anything because nobody has the energy to do it. You can grab a meal off your shelf, a meal in a jar, works so well, put it on your stovetop, have it ready in 20 minutes, and everybody can have some good nutritious food to eat as they can eat. Or let's say your neighbor has had a death in the family and they need help putting some food on the table for their family because they have so much more to deal with. You've got something ready right here that you can hand them and say, here, I'm caring for you. Please take this, use it when you need it, and they can have it ready. The same thing goes with somebody with a new baby. Other people who've gotten sick, maybe have lost a job and their pantry is looking really bare because there's just no money. There are all sorts of ways that this can benefit other people as well, which is a very big thing to me, is get those people. All right, so let's move on, because the biggest thing about dehydrated food is knowing what to do with it after. And I'm going to leave a link up here in the iCards, plus there's going to be a link in the description box below, plus there's going to be a QR code at the end to help you with a video that I made that gives you recipes that I do on the channel all the time that you can watch to see how I use these things. But I'm going to breeze through some ideas for all the meals, and we're going to go and pull something off the shelf and say, how can we use this? So some quick ideas for breakfast: oatmeal packets. You can pre-make oatmeal packets that have all sorts of benefits in them that you made with dehydrated food. I'm going to link a video up here in the iCards down in the description box below, specifically on oatmeal packs I made for a recent trip that I made to California to go look at observatories and see the sky with big old huge telescope. It was an amazing trip for me. But I made up oatmeal packs so that I could have breakfast on the go whenever I needed, and I didn't have to rely on the other people on the trip with me and when they were ready to eat. So it's oatmeal, some dehydrated fruits that all you have to do is add some hot water to, and you're good to go. You can also do dried fruit in your yogurt. Let it sit there for a while. It will rehydrate. It will be great. And it's a good chewy, crunchy texture that's a little different than having fresh fruit. For lunch, some vegetable chips, just like these, that you can have along with whatever meal you're making, that adds fiber, nutrition, and taste to a meal, and you get some extra veggies in your day besides having something else that's probably not good for you. It's just one little thing that you can do to add to your meal every time. You can also do a meal in a jar, soup in a jar. Just put your soup on the stovetop, let it go while you're doing whatever else you need to do, and you've got it ready to have a quick lunch whenever you need it. It also works when you go to work. Put it in a thermos with some hot water and let it rehydrate while you work. For dinner, one of the things that I like to do most is to add a handful of zucchini to anything. So if you're making a meatloaf, throw a handful of zucchini in with it. My favorite meal right now is a sweet potato that's been baked with taco meat that has had a ton of shredded zucchini added to it. Then with a cottage cheese taco seasoning sauce that I put over the top of it with some salsa. It's packed with protein, packed with fiber, tastes really good. It's easy to put together, and it's a meal that I can do quickly. And all I have to do is grab some zucchini off my shelf, throw it in with the cooked taco meat, and we're good. Another thing that I do is a little different, that I sneak vegetables into everything that I make, is I add green powder or vegetable powder to everything. And I could combine these if I want and just have one powder, not worry about it. But it's a way for me to dry vegetables, grind them up into a powder that integrate with everything without making it taste different, and get that extra nutrition into every meal I do for my family. I have a child who has pretty big texture issues about food, and so this is the way that I'm able to add all of the vegetables he will not eat into everything he eats, and he doesn't mind. This is one of the big things that started me on my dehydrating adventure, was figuring out ways to get more nutritious food into him. Another thing, you can have all of your vegetables prepped ahead of time. Onions, peppers, tomatoes, all of those things carrots, all of those things that you usually have to spend a lot of time prepping for every meal, have them ready and dry on the shelf. Most of the time, all you have to do is throw them in the skillet with some butter or some broth. Let them go, caramelize with that as you're getting other things ready, and you're ready to go. You didn't have to cut them up again that day. So for snacks, think about jerky, fruit leather, dried fruits that you can just munch on, vegetable chips. I mean, they are one of the things that I use to snack on when I'm feeling a little peckish, but I know I don't really need to eat anything. I can do this, and I will have nutrition and fiber without worrying about empty excess calories that don't mean anything. So I can stay away from the potato chips and eat vegetable chips instead. We're crooked, aren't we? Let's see if we can fix that. There we go. That's a little better. All right. So I promised you that I would go through this dry pantry with you and start pulling stuff off the shelf and give you ideas about how you can use the dehydrated foods that I have. Now, I'm going to say that over the course of the last year or so, I have really honed down what I keep here on this shelf to the things that we actually use all the time. Anything else is going into deeper storage, or the stuff that I experiment with. If I don't like it, I don't keep it, because I'm finding that even though I dry a lot for tutorials here, if I don't find that I use it all the time, I'm not going to keep doing it and having it on the shelf just to have it on the shelf. It's really important for you to save the money and the time to use the things that you know you like and use. You have to experiment in the beginning, but concentrate on those things that you know that your family will eat and that you found that your family loves. That's the best way to build this up quickly, and then concentrate on those. Expand out then as you can, okay? The experimentation is fun. It is not wasteful because you're learning food preservation techniques that are going to benefit your family. And then you can always powder it at the end and stick it in something that you'll never know you had. Okay, so let's get started. Right off the bat, we have right here, we have meals in a jar. This is taco soup, this is taco soup. They're a little bit different from each other. This is a cabbage and meat, like vegetable soup. And in the back that's something else. But I have, those are the ones that I have right now because those are the ones that I found that I like the most. So they are just a mixture of things that I put in from my pantry shelves that I can make a soup mix, and then I can just throw them on the oven. So that's what those are. Then scallop potatoes. These are sweet potatoes that I dried that you can make scallop sweet potatoes. One of the things I'm going to do with this next is I'm going to rehydrate them and make that same meal that I talked about. I don't even know what to call it yet. I'm going to have to come up with a name. But instead of using a baked sweet potato, we're going to do it kind of like a layered bake, where I'm going to do these sweet potatoes, get them baked up because they weren't fully cooked in the beginning, layer them up with the taco mix and stuff, and then let them cook, and then have a layered version of that thing that I love so much. I've got to come up with a name. Don't I? Tex-Mex, sweet potato mix? I don't know what it's going to be. But sweet potato casserole you can make with this. You don't have to have whole sweet potatoes. You can do it like this, or you can do scalloped. All right, then we have, right now, this is some dried Parmesan that we make with a mushroom Parmesan blend that is spectacular, that we love, that my husband has. So this is his. I don't touch this for anything. It's when he has to make the next batch up. Okay, let's see. These are dried greens of all kinds. This is what I make my green powder out of. So as I get extra greens, I throw them in the dehydrator, I dry them, and I stuff them in this jar. When I'm running out of the jar of greens that I have on the counter there, right here, I grind these up and make this powder. So this goes into everything. I use about a tablespoon in a 2 tablespoons in a bigger meal, like when I'm doing kind of a skillet meal or a stovetop meal. I'll use about 2 tablespoons of this. For smaller amounts of foods, I'll use a little less, but that's what this is. It's collecting and collecting. As I dry, I grind and add to this. But what you can also do, there you go, Darce. What you can also do with this is take a handful and add it to a soup. You can take a handful and add it to a casserole. One thing I like to make is a mushroom sausage kind of skillet meal that's a little bit like a soup, but it's not really soup, but it's got lots of stuff in it. But what I do is add a handful to greens in it, so it's like having spinach in that meal as well. And I don't have to worry about, is the spinach in the refrigerator gross? Like, did I leave it in there too long? It's gotten all slimy. I have this already on hand. I just toss this in there. It rehydrates in a split second and is ready to go at all times. So that's another waste thing that you can do. That spinach that you might not finish, any of that lettuce that you don't finish, throw it in your dehydrator and add it to your greens, okay? All right, another thing that I have here, I'm gonna have to make room up here to move around. This is onions. These are onions that I get from the grocery store that are frozen. When they're on sale, I buy tons of bags of it, bring it home, dry it. I have dried onions at the ready anytime I need it. This can go into any meal on the stovetop, just like you do when you do fresh onions. I can grind it to make onion powder. So it's great to have on hand all the time. Right here, I've got 2 jars of celery of cabbage that are ready to go to make, I make a deconstructed cabbage roll. It's an egg roll in a skillet kind of meal. The cabbage comes in handy for that, and that's what I have. I can have it any time during the year I want, and I don't have to rely on cabbage being in season because when it was, I dried it. Then, let's go with this. I have mushrooms on hand all the time. So what I can do is I chop them up small and then dry them, and I can add this to anything, and most of the time the texture is not even noticed. I'm not a big fan of rehydrated mushrooms, but if I do them really small, it comes out so much better and I can eat them. I can also powder this into mushroom powder that I can add as a umami flavor to anything that we make, to eggs, to any kind of meat dish, to anything that we create, and it adds that extra depth of flavor that's wonderful. So I always keep mushrooms on hand. Okay, the zucchini that we talked about, I am down to only this. I usually have 3 or 4 of these jars. Well, I think I've got one more up there. Yep, I do. That is a go-to for me. My family will not eat zucchini voluntarily. Most of the time, I will grill some up, and my oldest son and I will eat them, but for the most part, nobody else likes them. But I sneak it in this way, and they all know I do it. It's not something that I do without their permission, but they always know that it's going to probably be in a meal, and they don't know. So I shred them and dry them, and they're ready at any time to take a handful and put them into any meal. It's not like I have to create something special around it. Then right here we have peppers that are broken down, dried, and ready to go for any kind of meal that we want. It's nothing special that I have to do with them. I mean, they're just ready for the prep work has been done. You're being your own chef ahead of time so that you've got stuff ready. Right here is a vegetable mix that is all the dehydrated vegetables that I make that I don't necessarily keep for themselves, but I do a mix like this. I can take a handful of this and toss it into a simmering pot of broth and have a soup. I can take a handful of this or about 2 cups worth, and I make shepherd's pie. I take some of this to add to a meal just to help bulk it up some. There's nothing special, no special meal that I have to make around it, but I've always got extras to toss into things to add extra nutrition to every meal. If I get to the point that I don't use it and it's getting older, or I find maybe my family doesn't like it so much, I can grind this up and make vegetable powder, just like I do the green powder. That vegetable powder then can be added to anything without notice, and it's just adding extra nutrition every chance you get for anything that you're making. Okay, back here, corn works the exact same way. You can rehydrate corn and serve it on its own. I'm not a biggest fan of it, but some people like it. So that can be a single side dish. Most of the things that I make are used to incorporate into other things, not to make a side dish on their own. Then we have here, I have back in the back here, if you can see this jar right here, that is mushroom soup all ready to go that I made from my crushed mushrooms, and then the other ingredients to make mushroom soup. So anytime we want it, we can just reconstitute some following the recipe and get this cooked up, and it's ready for a meal at any time. Then up here I just have some extra celery because we have it there. Then this is pre-done Holy Trinity and Mirepoix, which is basically the 2 mixtures that are used in most foods, where you've got onions, peppers, and carrots, or onions, peppers, but it's basically the stuff that you do to prep most meals. I've already got it ready. And because my husband really hates peppers, so I can put them together, put them in a powder, and we still have the flavor without the texture, which is what he hates the most. So you can do it that way. Or you can just go ahead and make that up ahead of time, cook it and dry it without fats, and then you've got that prepped to use anytime at all. Okay, then we've got this. Put this aside. Then I have tomatoes that I dry all the time because they turn out to be great for tomato chips for me. That they're really good and they taste like pizza. I mean, that's just the flavor that comes off of them. But then what you can do with these is use them in a meal. I mean, just rehydrate them a little bit, and you've got tomatoes already ready to go. You can throw them in soups, you can throw them in a casserole, you can throw them in, like cottage pie is a big thing for me. We make it a lot. I can throw these in there, and it's so easy to have on hand. Seasoned fresh tomatoes all year long versus the stuff that you might get in the middle of winter that has no flavor. All right, now we get down here. I have apple chips. These are bigger chunks of apple chips, but I also do, it's not really a shred of apple, but I kind of get them up into tiny pieces and do them. This can be used to rehydrate to make apple pie. The shreds are what I use all the time to put into oatmeal because I love that flavor. So I can do them any time of the year. I have apples in oatmeal, but this would work to make apple pies again. Then orange slices. When I do oranges throughout the year, this goes in my tea, my hot and cold tea. I eat them. I like them. I dip them in chocolate. They can be really pretty Christmas gifts. They're wonderful. Let's see, another way to do things. I will dehydrate cooked beans because then they can go into anything, like a meal in a jar that I have right here. They rehydrate really quickly. You can make refried beans out of these. They don't need to be dehydrated to store, but they can be quick components for a meal that don't take extra prep. You don't have to remember to soak and get your beans cooked before you want something pretty quickly on the stove. And especially if you don't want to spend the price on canned beans, you can do it this way and have them ready on hand all the time and not have to worry about that. Then we have my giant tub of vegetable powder, so I use this a lot. Then I have dried hash browns. These can be purchased pretty inexpensively from the store. You don't need to necessarily dry them. I find that I'd like to do it when the hash browns go into the store. I go grab a bunch of bags of it, bring it home, put it in the dehydrator, and then I have it dried here. What can you use this for? I like to make a breakfast casserole out of this of course, it's one of those recipes that'll be down below, that I can use this as the base, and it's already ready to go. Just pour it in, pour stuff on it, let it sit overnight if you wanted to, but you can do it after an hour. Put it in the oven, and you have a ready casserole for family for breakfast for the next day, or for supper even. I mean, who says that breakfast casserole has to be only for breakfast? Can you do other stuff with this? Of course you can. Can you rehydrate this and make hash browns for breakfast? Yes, you can. All those kind of things that you would do normally, you can do with dried ones as well. Breadcrumbs that I make from bread that we're not eating. If we don't finish up a loaf, I will throw it. I mean, you can just set this out and let it dry, but because of the atmosphere in our house, we have a lot of pet dander and stuff and loads of dust, and so I don't let any food sit out. So I just throw it in the dehydrator, and then I have breadcrumbs to use for meatloaf, for dredging things in, anything that I need. I've got breadcrumbs for it. This is more celery right here. You can see the straw right here. It's just more celery. We don't eat a lot of celery anymore, and so if I powder it, then I use it that way. But this is one of those things that I won't, this is one of those things that I know I won't make a lot of anymore, and so I've got this storage to use as I can, because we just don't like it. So there. Shredded strawberries. Whether I slice them or shred them, these are perfect for oatmeal, for yogurts, for trail mixes, for anything like that. I can add this to those or just eat them like they are. Sometimes what I've also done is break them up a little more, drizzle a little chocolate on them, put them in the refrigerator, let them harden, and they're good candy. They're so good that way. Okay, so the rest of this is either fruit or it's just other stuff that we're not going to worry about. But you can do this with any vegetable that you're growing in the garden or can get from the store, and can put it into meals easily. Rehydrate with some hot water, hot broth, or in the refrigerator overnight. Have it ready for a meal anytime you need it. It's not something that needs to be stored here just to have it on a shelf just in case. Use the stuff, play with it, experiment with it. It will take you a little while to figure out what you like and how you like it. And if you didn't like it, then grind it up and put it in vegetable powder to add to anything all the time. Even if you only do one thing this week, start slow. Start just working on things that you know you already like, and you'll be surprised how quickly you can build up a dry pantry this way with foods that your family loves already. Now, if you want to see more recipes of how I use dehydrated foods, when I go through like making them from scratch, I do seasoning blends, I do snacks, I do meals. You can watch this video right here. There's going to be a QR code right here where you can print off the recipes. And remember that no matter what is going on around you, nevertheless, she preserved. It's important that you do it. And until I see you again next time, happy dehydrating.